Okay, this is it. Time for the last tutorial video on this course. In it, we will get our win and lose scene looking a bit cooler and add music to our game. So in the previous video, you saw how to make scene transitions with Liam. The player now smoothly moves from one area of the game to another. However, you probably noticed that these restart and return to menu buttons aren't working if you did exactly as Liam did. The reason is that the fade panel is in front of the buttons, so the cursor can't detect those. Basically, it's the same issue we faced with the cursor in the before last video, and the solution is the exact same. Create a new UI canvas, change the scale modes to scale with screen size, and add the canvas grip components with the interactable and blocks raycast boxes unchecked. Now drag and drop the fade panel and that quirk is fixed. And of course you can just do the same for the other scenes, so the win scene and about scene. With that fixed, I'll create some art in Photoshop for the lose scene. As usual, making a rough sketch and then painting over it. You can make this as simple or intricate as you like. Like for the main menu, I'm just going to feature the player character in this scene. I won't paint a mutilated corpse, but rather the hero looking a bit dead from the inside. His eyes black, empty sockets. I'll also extinguish his torch, that beam of life and energy snuffled out. Basically, the character looks defeated and weary, but he's not completely dead. He can still hit that restart button and try again. I also drew a few buttons the player could use to transition to either the main menu or the actual game area, to stay consistent with the main menu and replace these ugly white boxes. As I'm at it, I'll also create the win scene. This time the player should look really alive, proud and triumphant, and his whole body golden and victorious. At this point, the player has overcome plenty challenges and monsters. He and his avatar should feel like winners. And again, I'll handwrite a few buttons and a victory message. Now I'll export the art of the lose and win scenes into Unity and start adding it all to the actual game. Again, I'm just going through the same process we've gone through before, creating UI images and drag and dropping my art inside of these sprite empty slots. Then resizing it nicely and making sure to snap it to a certain part of the screen, so it fits nicely on multiple screen resolutions. You've already created buttons with Liam, so I'll simply delete the text and replace the bland white square with my nicer button graphics. I'll also add my game's background image, which makes everything look a lot nicer. For the loose scene, I'll also add this dark frame to make everything look more ominous and gloomy. Adding a black frame like this to any scene is a sure and easy way to make it look a bit more spooky, atmospheric and dangerous. Of course, also play around with the position of your various UI elements and see what looks best. Great, all our scenes now look really nice. All that's left to do to call this creation complete is add some music. Now again, we won't make any music in this course, so either download some online or make your own epic pieces. Once you've decided on something, we can implement it inside of the game. Now you can have multiple pieces of music for your game. For example, one that would play in the main menu, another in-game, and perhaps two more for the lose and win scenes. All you need to do is drag and drop your music clip inside of the appropriate scene to create a game object with an audio source component that has that music on it. However, for this small game, I'm just going to add one soundtrack that won't interrupt itself between scenes. In other words, it will continue playing smoothly from the menu to the game area to the win and lose scenes. This will give the player a nice feeling of momentum, and even when he loses, he'll still feel like he's right in the action, which will get him hungry for more. So I'll create an empty game object called music and drag and drop my music onto that. I'll make sure to check the loop box, this way the music will start all over again once it's finished. And hitting play, you'll hear that cool music playing in the background. However, when I hit play and my scene transitions to the game area, the music stops playing. So our goal is to get this music game object to not destroy itself between scenes. We'll do so by creating a little C# script called music, which I'll drag and drop into the music game object. And inside it, we'll create a private static variable of type music called instance. Now inside of my awake function, which I remind you is called just before the start function, I'll check whether the instance is equal to null. If it is, then the music will become the instance and I'll simply type don't destroy on load instance. And there we go, the music will not destroy itself between scenes, but will smoothly follow the player around. However, if there's already an instance, I want to make sure to destroy the game objects. This makes sure we don't find ourselves with multiple music game objects in a same scene, which wouldn't sound right at all. I'll now test this out. And as expected, the music sticks between scenes, making the transition between menu and game area feel smooth and pretty cool. And if I die on purpose here, you'll see that the music also follows us to that loose scene. Fantastic. And there we go, our little 2D top-down shooter action game is complete. What a journey. A huge well done to all those having stayed right up until the end of the course. If you created your own little game alongside these tutorials, make sure to share it with me, Liam, and the rest of the community over on the course's Discord server. We would love to try it out and give you some feedback. With that said, I'll see you in the final section of the course, where I'll show you how to publish and share your creation with the rest of the world. Cheers.